Welcome to our channel LPBW Update. We will share exciting news today for Little People, Big World fans. Amy Roloff, the wife of Chris Marek, is expecting a child. Finally, Amy is on the brink of giving birth to a new child. Amy Roloff is anticipating the arrival of twins. We are pleased to announce the news that has been discussed in fan forums and speculated about in subdued tones for months. We are present to provide you with the complete, extraordinary narrative. Amy Roloff, who is 62 years old, is expectant. Furthermore, that is not all. Our sources, who are extremely close to the family, have verified that Amy is not only expecting one infant, in a twist that can only be described as a divine favor. The voyage to this extraordinary event was shrouded in the deepest secrecy, and for a very good reason. We must first comprehend the profound privacy and immense risks that the couple felt were necessary in order to comprehend the gravity and marvel of this pregnancy. The initial murmurs were initiated by the astute followers of Little People, Big World, as they frequently are. Viewers on a specific subreddit began to compile what they perceived as clues approximately 8 months ago. A devotee inquired, "Has anyone else observed Amy in her most recent cooking video? She is only exposing her cleavage and she is donning an extremely lax apron. Additionally, she appeared to be slightly more fatigued than usual, but she was exceedingly joyful. There is something distinctive about this situation." These were, of course, mere suppositions, and they were frequently disregarded. A geriatric pregnancy, which is characterized by a woman's age exceeding 35, is an uncommon and intricate condition. A pregnancy at the age of 62 is in essence a medical miracle. Mother and child are at risk of potential complications as a result of this one-in-a-million coincidence. The hazards were exponentially increased for Amy, who also has achondroplasia. A source who was extremely close to the couple, who spoke to us on the condition of anonymity, described the extraordinary strain they were experiencing. They were utterly terrified. It was a combination of pure, unadulterated delight and debilitating dread from the moment they discovered the news. Amy's initial reaction was not, "Wow, this is incredible." Rather, it was, "Is it possible for me to accomplish this? Will my body be able to endure this? Will the infants be unharmed?" The physicians were brutally honest about the dangers, but they were cautiously optimistic. Managing the medical aspect of the situation was a full-time task, given the number of consultations and the specialists they were required to consult. This is the reason, according to our source, that they kept the information so confidential. It was not a significant disclosure on reality television. It was about safeguarding the fragile, precious life, or, as they would soon discover, lives that were developing within her. They resolved to refrain from issuing any public statements until they had successfully navigated all significant medical obstacles and were certain that the pregnancy was viable and progressing in a healthy manner. Chris, in particular, developed an intense sense of protection. He oversaw Amy's schedule, nutrition, and functioned as a gatekeeper to guarantee that she was in a stress-free environment. Chris was not only a boulder, but also a sanctuary. He was aware that this was his sole opportunity to become a biological father, and he was determined not to let anything compromise it. He prepared meals. He conducted a thorough cleaning. He responded to telephone inquiries. He informed Amy that her sole responsibility is to provide a secure environment for our infants. For his entire existence, he has aspired to become a father, and the conflicting emotions of love, dread, and hope were evident in his eyes on a daily basis. They only disclosed the information to a small, trusted group, which included her children, of course. Even these discussions were fraught with sentiment and nuance. The world's opinion was not as important to them as the support of their family. The physical changes were becoming increasingly difficult to conceal. Amy withdrew from numerous public engagements. The frequency of her online culinary segments decreased. She was frequently observed sitting behind a kitchen island or ensconced in an expansive, comfortable shawl when she did make an appearance. The fans observed, but the majority of them believed that she was merely savoring a more tranquil existence with Chris. The true reason was so significant that no one dared to speculate. The 20-week anatomy scan was the genuine turning point, the moment when they realized they might be able to accomplish this miraculous. They had previously undergone a variety of diagnostic procedures, including genetic screenings, high-resolution ultrasounds, and extensive blood work. Every one of them was a painful wait for the phone to ring. However, the 20-week scan was distinct. The midway point was reached. This was the moment when they would have the most comprehensive view of their baby's development. The events that transpired in that dim, silent room, where the ultrasound machine's murmur permeated the atmosphere, would have a profound impact. Visualize the scene. Amy and Chris are clasping hands so tightly that their knuckles are pallid. Their pulses are in their throats as they observe the indistinct black and white image on the monitor. The sonographer's visage is concealed by a professional mask as she moves the instrument and takes measurements. She affirms their prior knowledge, that there is only one robust, healthy heartbeat, a vertebra that is precisely shaped, 10 digits and 10 toes. A surge of relief that is so potent that it nearly causes them to cry. The physician had authorized them to experience genuine, unreserved joy. However, the sonographer then decided to take a break. She relocated the instrument to a different viewing position, her brow furrowed in concentration. Chris was the first to speak, according to our source, who heard the story firsthand from an overwrought Amy. He gazed at the screen and murmured, "What is that? Is that an echo?" For the first time, the sonographer's professional demeanor was broken by a wide, incredulous smile as she turned to them. She uttered the words that would eternally change the trajectory of their lives. "No, Mr. Marek. That is not a reverberation. Congratulations on the arrival of your second child. You are expecting twins." The news of the twins was a shockwave, a world-altering, joyous, and terrifying shockwave. The magnitude of their one-in-a-million miracle had been doubled. The source, who was in direct contact with the family, described the car journey home as a flurry of emotions and laughter. Amy stated that she was unable to stop staring at Chris, who was gazing straight ahead at the road with a large, adoring expression and tears streaming down his face. He continued to ask Amy, "How many? What are we going to do with 2?" And she would simply giggle and weep in unison with him. Naturally, the apprehension persisted. The dangers were now even more severe. However, the pleasure was so profound that it overshadowed all else at that precise moment. It appeared to be a divine omen, as if this was destined to occur. At this juncture, they resolved to disclose the information to the public, albeit on their own terms. A unique episode of Little People, Big World was devised, featuring a sit-down interview with the 2 individuals in their own residence to recount their narrative. The filming was both emotive and intimate. Amy is depicted in the scenario donning a stunning, billowing emerald green top. She is now visibly pregnant, with a soft, round abdomen that she affectionately places her palms on during the interview. Chris is at her side, with his arm resting on the back of her chair in a protective manner. Chris declares, "I have always aspired to be a father. It was the sole deficiency in my existence. However, I have a deep affection for Amy, and the opportunity to be her husband and step-grandfather to her grandchildren was a blessing. I have always desired for her to feel that she is sufficient for me as she is my entire existence." However, did I still harbor that aspiration in my heart? That 1 in a billion chance? Yes, I believe I did. Afterward, it transpired. It is still difficult to articulate the words aloud. It lacks authenticity. I will cherish that moment for the remainder of my life, the ability to gaze at my spouse and inform him that he will become a father. Then, the physician informs us that there are 2 heartbeats. It is simply the most significant blessing I could have ever envisioned. It is a miracle, but it is also frightening. Oh my heavens, it is terrifying. Our 2 miniature marvels. Once broadcast, the announcement would have been one of the most viewed instances in the history of reality television. However, the couple, after consulting with their physicians and family, ultimately resolved to postpone the episode. The dangers remained excessive. Prior to disclosing their voyage, they desired to reach the 3rd trimester, which signified a state of viability. Their decision to prioritize safety and privacy over a television moment is a testament to their values. It is impossible to conceal a secret of this magnitude from one's family. The Roloff children were among the first to learn. The responses were a multifaceted tapestry of emotions, including astonishment, concern, and in the end, an overwhelming sense of elation. Zach and Tori were in a unique position to comprehend the medical intricacies, having experienced their own parental journey with children who have achondroplasia. One of their initial reactions, as described by our source, was startled silence, which was followed by profound concern for their mother's health. Zach was first discreet. You could see his mind working over the hazards, his mother's dwarfism, and her age. His first instinct was to protect his mother, whom he loves. He asked several questions about her doctors, health, and newborn issues. Tori was with him and saw Amy's satisfaction in her look. She spoke out, "Oh my God, Mom, this is amazing." She received a huge hug. They were two of Amy's biggest fans after their first surprise. Amy and Chris say Tori has always supported them by sharing her own experiences and helping them prepare for the unique challenges of public parenting. The idea of their children having two tiny aunts or brothers was exciting. Audrey and Jeremy were shocked. Those who value family and mindful living saw the news as a powerful tribute to faith and life's unexpected gifts. Jeremy was thrilled. He and his mother have always been close. He just saw it as an incredible gift. Audrey was immediately drawn to the heritage and its story. Amy was told this is a narrative that will serve as an inspiration to millions of individuals. An optimistic story. Early on, they were quite helpful, giving whatever help they could. Matt Roloff, whose views captivated the globe, gave the most detailed and loving response. The connection between Amy and Matt after their divorce has been Little People, Big World's main theme for years. They have moved from bitterness and suffering to courteous and sometimes warm co-grandparenting. However, this information was different. Amy, his ex-wife of 30 years, was starting a new life with another guy. According to sources, Amy informed Matt in person. Matt and Karen were invited to stay with her and Chris. Amy preferred in-person transactions. She felt bound to respect him. Historical importance abounded. She had anxiousness. Chris suffered anxiousness. She delivered all the facts. She told him she was having twins. Matt stood still for a minute. You may have heard a nail drop. The next occurrence was a time of grace and healing that program fans had expected. Matt told Chris, "Chris, you are a good man and you are going to be a great father," without looking at Amy. He looked at Amy and grew emotional, adding, "Ames, you are entitled to all the happiness in the world. I'm glad this makes you happy." Without question. He told her to tread carefully and consider her health. Just saying how great it was made Karen cry. Complete closure and respect were achieved. Matt offered to help build a special, accessible nursery for them. Nobody expected the bridge to be constructed this way. This one act of kindness from Matt started a new chapter for the Roloffs. The twins' news united, not divided. Roloff's huge, ornate, and beautiful home was ready to greet the two newcomers. Chris diligently made two gorgeous wooden beds in delight and focus. Amy folded baby clothes on a rocking rocker. Neutral grays, greens, and yellows were worn. An enlargement showed two identical little booties. Images of calming sage green nursery walls. Classic children's literature filled the shelves. Here we are now. Amy Roloff is nearing the end of her pregnancy. She must remain on bed rest to allow the twins to gain strength before their scheduled C-section delivery, which is only days away. Her home has changed significantly. A gorgeous guest room turned nursery awaits its new owners. An observer called the residence stunning. It's not overdone. Completely Amy. Warmth, comfort, and fondness define it. The delicate motif evokes forest animals. Chris hand-built two exquisite dark wood cribs. Matt delivered by designing and building a special lower changing table that Amy may use. The olive limb was huge. Tori and Audrey gave her the most beautiful private baby shower 2 weeks ago. A pleasant, gender-neutral green covers the walls. Yes, the maternity shower. To avoid travel, Amy hosted a top-secret event in her garden. It was a small gathering of the family's closest friends, including the Roloff women. Our insider reported a very emotional day. Each of her children spoke briefly. Zach described his mother's strength. Jeremy discussed familial influence. The discreet Molly expressed her deep and genuine delight for her mother. However, Chris's most touching moment occurred. Since the shower was for ladies, he just attended the end to thank everyone. His arrangement included Amy's favorite flowers. In front of everyone, his voice cracked. He looked at Amy and said, "I have adored you ever since I first encountered you. Seeing you handle this with elegance and fortitude is the most brave deed I've seen. You achieved my greatest dream, and your courage amazes me constantly." It was eerie quiet. Amy cried with excitement. The last delay begins in their quiet home. 2 emergency kits are prepared at the hospital. 2 kid seats are in Chris's vehicle. In anticipation of 2 babies, the nursery is quiet. All reports indicate that bearing twins in her 60s is physically demanding for Amy. Her spirit rises. Reading, resting, and talking to her babies fill her days. Chris is super husband mode, meeting her every need with loving apprehension and ecstasy. After a 9-month covert expedition, they are about to start a new life. A life they never imagined, one of unbounded love for the 2 creatures they are going to meet, midnight feedings and lullabies. The Marek twins' birth isn't only a family event, it marks a major change in the Roloff heritage. For years, the story has been about family breakup and expansion. A new central branch is developing that will forever link the past and future. These babies will have older siblings to defend them. They will have elder nieces and brothers. They will be born into a reality TV family that epitomized uniqueness. What will be their life story? Will they get achondroplasia like their mother? Time alone can answer that. As this story ends, Amy Roloff may be at ease in her house, feeling the final flutters and movements of her 2 lives. She is about to give birth. Next time we talk, Chris Marek will be a father, and she may be a mother again. This shows that life is not linear, that happy endings may have sequels, that love can generate wonders, and that sometimes the biggest blessings come in tiny packages. 2 are present. Our staff sends Amy, Chris, and the Roloff family our deepest wishes for a safe, healthy, and joyous delivery. We and the planet are anxiously awaiting the entrance of the newest inhabitants of this huge and beautiful universe. Little People, Big World heroine Amy Roloff thanked her husband Chris Marek in a post. When she saw her husband Chris Marek, Amy Roloff wrote, "I love you, Chris." The 60-year-old Little People, Big World heroine thanked her almost 2-year-old husband on Saturday. Roloff wrote on Instagram that she was thankful that her husband let her go to 2 events that she was really excited about. She also shared many photos from their recent trip to Austin, Texas. The Austin TX LPA National Conference and the DIA National Games were 2 of the many amazing, fun, and memorable parts of our trip that Chris and I were able to share. In the explanation of the picture, she briefly mentioned events put on by the Dwarf Athletic Association of America and the Little People of America. At the moment, there are people in my life who are a bit like me. She kept talking about how happy she was that Chris had a good time. It makes my heart sing to know that he was treated so well by everyone at LPA. It might have looked like he didn't belong when I was with people like me, but that wasn't the case. After that, she said that Chris seems to be getting along with everything. Being with him makes him happy, which makes me feel better. I look forward to seeing all of you at my next event, and I'm sure Chris will be there too. Chris Marek, there is love between us. Since their wedding in August 2021, Roloff has been posting about their married life on social media. In March, the mom of 4 shared a wonderful date night with Marek in the form of a picture essay on her Instagram story. As things get worse, Amy Roloff denies Matt's claims. What does the main character of Little People, Big World call his ex-wife Amy? He calls her stubborn. I will give you a full answer. It has been said that Amy and Matt Roloff are fighting again in season 25 of Little People, Big World. According to rumors, the ex-couple may feel even more stress if Amy and Matt spend too much time together, even though time has passed. At the present time, Amy and Matt Roloff have a very friendly friendship. Even though they are no longer married, they are still very involved in each other's lives and the lives of their children and grandkids. There are also Chris Marek and Karen Chandler. Because they are still together after all these years, Matt and Amy will always fight when they are together. Even though they both like to be in charge and give other people tasks to do, they are similar in the most recent episodes of Little People, Big World. They become more angry with each other, and the problem of too many hands in the pot becomes clear. Spoilers for this week's episode of Little People Big World say that Amy and Matt Roloff's problems are clear from the start as they start arguing again. Matt, who is married to Amy, tells Chris Marek that he is extremely furious at her in this sneak peek. There is no doubt that future knife scenes will be much more dramatic, even though TLC has not revealed the exact events that led to this. There will be more information in this week's show, but it's clear that Matt Roloff is mad at Amy. A fundraiser for the season is being planned at Roloff Farms by Matt Roloff, Amy Roloff, Chris Marek, and Karen Chandler. As the four people work together to plan, organize, and carry out this important event, their disagreements are on full display. In Little People, Big World previews, Amy Roloff makes it clear that she is not guilty of the things Matt Roloff said about her. Karen Chandler's future scenes show that she has no plans to get involved in Matt and Amy's relationship, even though the two ex-couples are getting more angry with each other. Karen insists that she doesn't want to be a part of the ongoing argument. People who watch Little People, Big World can easily understand why Amy and Matt Roloff's relationship ended. One person will still be angry about something and the other will still have bad feelings about themselves, even though time has passed. This kind of situation will have some intense and dramatic moments. Matt and Amy Roloff, who are regulars on TLC, are currently dealing with the task of doing things with their ex-partner that they might not have thought of before, like planning a big charity event in the house where they used to live together. The Dwarf Athletic Association of America, a charity that Matt and Amy care a lot about, has benefited from Little People Big World's 25th season focus on collecting money. They met in real life at an event put on by the Dwarf Athletic Association of America in 1986. Even so, Matt and Amy went on to have other relationships after their split in 2016. Amy is married to Chris Marek, and Matt is going to marry Karen Chandler. Now that the four people have decided to raise money, they will have to work together. Before its April 9th launch, Distractify was able to watch an early version of the show. It's clear that things are getting worse between these ex-couples in season 25 of Little People Big World.